Okay, here we are with another modern matchup. I'm playing Gruul Zoo. Oops, rid of that. And my opponent is playing Affinity. He lost the roll here, so we're going to be on the draw here probably. Yep. So opponent leads off with a Blink Moth. This hand isn't amazing, but we can second turn Burning-Tree into the Boar, and hopefully we can draw into something. Which we actually do. We draw into a Goblin Guide here. So we're going to fetch up the Stomping Ground. Goblin Guide, tap for 2. Reveals a Steel, which could be a problem later in the game. And activates his Blink Moth, so you can use his Mox Opal and Steel Shaper's Gifts for a Cranial Plating. We're going to crack our fetch, Burning-Tree into Boar, and tap for 2. Including that post combat actually, but it doesn't really matter. He reveals a Shrapnel Blast, and our opponent concedes, which seems a little hasty. But we do have a lot of power on board, and actually 2 bolts in hand, which he doesn't know about. 3, 5. So that's 7. Yeah, he'd be dead in pretty short order. I'm guessing he either like missed a land drop or something, probably, and just wasn't able to really do anything with what he had. So yeah, a bit of an early concession, but yeah, maybe just a bit flooded. Oh, mana screwed rather. So on to game 2. This is our opener. Pretty decent. Got Goblin Guide to Kird Ape into Boar. That just leads off with Springleaf Drum off an Inkmoth Nexus. We can play Guide and attack. And we see an Etched Champion, which is not ideal. You can get that down early. Vault Scourge into Cranial Plating is all pretty horrible. Vault Scourge plus Cranial Plating is quite the combo. Means you can gain a lot of life in the air, and we don't have any removal at the moment to deal with that. And certainly no flyers in this deck, so definitely a problem. He Ornithopters into Etched Champion. Attacks with Scourge. I'm going to play out Kird Ape and the Boar, double evolving my Experiment 1, and attack with Guide, and Experiment 1. I'm going to lose a Guide here, but we need to get in damage. Still probably just dead here, because he can just Cranial Plating up his Vault Scourge, and attack for 8. He actually attacks for more than that, because he is going to activate his Inkmoth and his Blink Moth, which makes me take 10, I believe, yeah, 10 damage there. He gains 10 life, goes up all the way up to 18, so he doesn't really have to care. I do draw a Dismember, but we're pretty much out of this game now. Can attack, but he's only going to take 5, and he equips the Cranial Plating up to the Etched Champion, and we're just dead there. So yeah, that's not ideal. Pretty good hand start for him. Cranial Plating, Vault Scourge, definitely a problem, and not really removal was another issue for us. So yeah, on to game 3. So here's our opener. We've got Magus the Moon, which is probably I hope he's quite good against him. Definitely turns off his Blink Moths and Ink Moths and so on. So that's pretty good. If we can get that to play that. Either way, Experiment 1, Flinthoof Boar, Stormblood Berserker, and a removal spell in the form of Bolt seems like a decent start. We're also on to play. So we're going to play Stomping Ground and Experiment 1. That's Vault Scourge, which isn't ideal. We did lead off with a Mountain, which indicates that he might be having some sort of mana troubles potentially. It's not usually what he would want to lead off of. We draw Burning-Tree, which is awesome. Going to get to Burning-Tree into a Boar here, which makes our Experiment 1 a 3/3. Then I'm going to attack. Opponent goes down to 15. There's a Glimmer Void, which is quite interesting. Particularly as if he doesn't play any artifacts out this turn, we could just kill his Scourge and kill it. So obviously he's going to have a couple of artifacts here. Spellskite's quite annoying. So, not devastating. going to attack here. Opponent's going to take 5. Doesn't want to block with the Memnite. So if you can hear that in the background, apparently someone's doing some sort of tree surgery in the background. I hope that's not too annoying. So we play out the Berserker. We could have bolted his Spellskite and killed it off. But I think we're better off just putting more creatures onto the board here. He uses his turn to play an Overseer, and definitely appears to be struggling on lands here. Attacks for 1. We draw a Dismember, which is ideal here. We can get rid of his Spellskite and attack. So we're going to get rid of the Spellskite. I actually bolt the Overseer here. It probably would have been better just to attack and see if he was willing to block. If he takes no blocks, then he just dies. Actually, even if he 3, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, if he only blocks with a Memnite, that's probably fine too. He'd be very close to dead. I think he'd be on 4. We might have killed the Overseer either way, but I think it would be better just to attack and see if he blocks, because we don't really mind if he blocks with either of these guys. Particularly not the Overseer. But as it stands, he doesn't block and he goes down to 1. And I think we get the concession there, so that's fine. But yeah, I think it would be better to keep the bolt, as if he just made no blocks, we could have bolted him and won that turn. And had he blocked with just the Memnite, I think we'd still been in a pretty good position. And maybe we would have bolted the Overseer, but it would have been better to wait, either way. But yeah, quick start, and actually managed to beat Affinity, which is quite good. I don't think it would always go this way. I think Vault Scourge plus Cranial Plating is definitely a problem for our deck, as life gain is something we don't really want to see, and flyers are quite difficult to handle. But otherwise, that went quite well, and I think if you can flood the board with big guys, they will struggle if they can't find their key cards.